Hey everybody, 25 Investigates working on a lot of stories for you this month. Ted, I know you're working on one about a local doctor still practicing, but his own colleagues raised some concerns about some events, we're calling them.
Yeah, Carrie, this story involved a mountain of paperwork. We went through hundreds of documents and from multiple sources. There's a lawsuit where this doctor is named in the suit and talked about. There is the board that regulates doctors. They have a case against him, and the Department of Health looked into the hospital, which is Boston Medical Center where he worked, and how some of these complaints were handled.
So we'll get to the complaints in a second, but first you spoke with the whistleblower who raised the red flag here.
Yeah, what's interesting about this is another doctor who works in the same field. It's called interventional radiology, where they use scans and imaging to perform these precise surgical procedures. And so this isn't a patient or, some third party. This is someone who worked very closely with the doctor that she's reporting on. In fact, she was the director of quality and safety for the interventional radiology department, and part of her job was to monitor her peers and report any of these events that happen.
Anything concerning. So I know in all that mountain of paperwork, you found some specific complaints. Talk to us about a couple of things that perhaps didn't go the way they were supposed to.
Yeah, the whistleblower in this case tells me she had never seen some of these events in her life, and she's practiced a long time. One of the ones that caught our attention was a teenager described as having sickle cell disease, a blood disorder, and also described as being developmentally delayed. That teenager needed to have a blood transfusion. So this doctor was supposed to put what's called a port in the teen's vein, and it was supposed to be a double port for this exchange transfusion. Somehow the teenager ended up with a single port, and that was caught the next day by the doctors who were about to do the transfusion. They said, I don't know if we can do this. This is not the right port. He had to go back in for surgery.
So another procedure. You did confront this doctor in question.
We did. This doctor was very polite. He spoke with us briefly. He wanted to keep most of our conversation off the record, and we agreed to that. It is no surprise, Carrie, that he said it would be best if his lawyers handled any communication with us. We did not hear directly from the lawyers representing him in a case that the state has against him. We did hear from a spokesperson for Boston Medical Center who says this doctor continues to practice and is in good standing. And I want to make it clear, when you research this doctor and you look him up online, there are no disciplinary actions, no malpractice cases, nothing like that has been noted on his public file. We learned about the state aspect of this case and what the state is looking into by a public records request, something that the average person wouldn't necessarily know to do, file a public records request on your doctor before seeing them.
So we're going to take a closer look at this process, how it's playing out, and what became of the whistleblower Monday night at 10 o'clock.